All right, well, welcome Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Welcome Instagram. Can you hear me okay there, Nick?
Yeah, I just disconnected my ear pods, so I'm going to reconnect them real
Yep,
fast.
mine's derping out. Hold on. Oh, it's always something in streaming land. It's always something. I'm really excited about today's session. All right, let's see if that fixes it. All right, you're connecting. Happy, what is it, Tuesday morning to everyone? I like it. Nick's having connection issues. Let me tell you what happens when you do live streams, okay? Technical difficulties, all right? Part of the program. Part and parcel of the program anyway. I think it's one of the most encouraging things actually too when you start running these and you run into your own issues and then you're like, you know what? There's always going to be issues. Doesn't matter. Even the issues have issues. Do you have any piece of technology that works flawlessly in your life at all point in time? No, none of us do, right? And that is just part and parcel of the ball game. That's why you can't get stressed or hung up about these things. You got to just get on with it. You got to just ship these things, you know? And I've got a very exciting topic. Waiting for Nick here, our CEO, to get on, and I haven't told him what today's topic is. I'm going to ambush him in a good old fashioned bushwhack and see how he takes to it. Because as things stand, it's 10/26, last week of the month. Not only is it the last week of the month, but man, we're already rolling into Q4, and let me tell you, I was not expecting to see the results that I am seeing already. It has been sort of staggering. Um, I think each year we go through these things. Um, the results happening sooner and sooner and sooner and sooner than I expected them to. And can you finally hear me now?
Yeah, it keeps shutting my Bluetooth off, so I can't. You're going to get an echo on me, so I'm seeing if I have some other way of plugging in. I think I can't do Instagram.
All right, Instagram, you guys are host. We'll be back. I'll follow up on Instagram after the fact. Let's just stay on the main one. All right.
Okay, there we go. There's always something when you're going live. Always something.
It's always something. But the show must go on.
Yes.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end. Oh, does it even matter? Does it even matter if we have a little nonsense talking ahead of time? Okay, so theme for today. Okay, and as you heard me say, I want to bushwhack you because I didn't tell you what it was ahead of time. But I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, and I want to open it up and riff a little bit. But the title I gave this is "The Digital Landscape is Changing, and artists and photographers more than ever need to keep up or be left behind." Okay. And the reason it says AMA behind me is because Nick and I are on. It's the last week of the month. We get overloaded the last week of the month at all times. And the complaints are, you guys are so busy, I can barely get through and everything else. And so we do these lives as a way for you guys to ask whatever questions you like. And we're more than happy to answer them. So you've got questions, whether you're a customer or not, you can just throw them into the chat on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and we will answer. But I don't mean to be hyperbolic with my scary pumpkin background, all right? But the digital landscape is changing. Keep up or be left behind. You can riff on this for a second. I have never seen, okay? We had the COVID pandemic hit last year, right? We had essentially 10 years of e-commerce penetration, meaning the total dollars spent online in relation to retail, 10 years of growth happened in about 7 weeks during the last COVID, okay? Fast forward another year as we're headed into Q4. I have never seen the sheer amount of dollars invested in e-commerce before in my entire life. Every single solitary platform out there that's serious is iterating and coming up with new features and new ways of capitalizing on this boom. And it's like the sheer amount of investment that is getting poured in. You can't go 10 feet without new features being announced, new paradigm shifts happening, more and more companies invested in e-commerce, and especially on a marketing standpoint. And I really do believe that based on the data, the increased penetration in e-commerce as a total, you can't afford not to keep up anymore. The game is changing so fast that if you're not adding these features and you don't have the website that is equipped to sell your art, okay, and transact commerce and have all these bells and whistles that just keep coming out more and more and more, more so than ever, if you guys don't get in the game, you're going to be left behind. And I mean, you follow the tech community as much as I do. The sheer amount of investment is staggering.
Yeah, it's totally staggering. And everybody, the smart money is making a just insane bet on the future of e-commerce, right?
Yep.
Because it's no longer a risk. It's like it's a known quantity, right?
Yes.
And so actually what they're trying to do is they're trying to make a land grab, like
Yep.
they want their investment dollars to be owning these companies, as much of them as possible, because they know that we're still in the early stages of of just a ton of value being created by software, right, and e-commerce and all of this stuff. And so you see all of that happening, and it's so and we see it and we experience it as a e-commerce platform ourselves self for artists, right? It's
Yep.
like, I mean, a perfect example of this, we just announced the other day, we had all of these features that we released for Q4, right?
Yep.
And they were all done during the third quarter of the year. Okay, and two of those are the order bumps and the order upsells. Right? An order bump is when you're on a site and you add something to your cart, and then you're presented with you're presented with another item that's low cost, and it's all kind of mathematical the way that that's done in order to get you to add something else to your cart. It's the equivalent of a would you like fries with that when you go to like McDonald's or a burger shop, right?
Yep.
It's like the typical upsell. And then the order upsell feature is
One click upsell.
one click upsell. One click upsell. Thank you. Is after your order is completed, after like a visitor completes their order, there's they get to the success page, right, and there's an offer right there for a one click upsell to add something to your order. Okay. Now, if you're not familiar with these things, you might be like, why do these things matter? Like maybe they work or maybe they don't. They work.
Oh yeah.
They work. They work. They work. Period. End of story. This is this is a known quantity now, right? Do your own research and go look it up yourself. It will, by having these features, it increases your average order value and your conversion rate. So that means more people that come to your site are going to buy, and they're going to buy more. Okay, and so we had a customer who launched the feature. This is a photographer on our platform. He launched the feature, and he got 3 times the order size that he otherwise would have gotten. And it was great because he got an order bump and an order upsell in both of them in the same order. So the person added their first item to the cart, then bumped the order up from the order bump, and then took advantage of the one click upsell at the end. And so he just got like a triple whammy on it, and he 300%ed increase the size of the order on the spot. I mean, you want to talk about software and technology doing the work for you, Pat?
I know.
Is that not incredible? It's just incredible. And so
Yep.
going back to what you were saying, it's like, when I think about the future, like when you think about the future for artists and photographers, and the way that I view things and the way that we view things at art storefronts, is every niche is going to have the most specific features and functionality that it should have, all the way to the finest detail. That is going to happen,
Happening.
and we are way ahead of the game on all of this, right? It's like the features and functionality that we release in a given quarter is so intense and so detailed of the value that we're providing, that it's hard to even comprehend how quickly we're moving and how many different things that we're doing, And it's all based on this premise that
Yep.
every business owner, will have and should have all of the software and technology that they need to run their business, to grow their business, to make it as easy as possible, to give the greatest customer experience possible to their actual customer, and so forth.
Got to keep up, or you're going to be left behind. A couple of things about one click upsells, order bumps. There's a bunch of different terminology, right? But that in no way means this is new. Okay, this is as old as time. Okay, this is as old as time, and when you're at your local hardware store, or you're at the local electronics shop, or any of these stores where when you get in line, they snake you through this little lane,
That's
right?
right.
Where they're selling tchotchke, right? Where they're selling ice creams and waters and candies and cell phone chargers and duct tape and electric fly swatters and flashlights and all these various different things. Like, it's as old as time, right? And what those local retail stores know is that while we're waiting, if they snake us through these little things, then the AOV, whatever we purchase, is going to go up. Like, let's say, I've got some Swiffers because my kids spill on the floor all the time. And then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? My kid's with me. He wants a damn ice cream. Okay, great. I need a cell phone cable. And instead of me spending $50 on the Swiffers, I'm now spending $75. So my AOV, my average order value, has gone from $50 to $75. Okay. That's number one. This concept is old as time. Number two, understand psychologically, the easiest time to get an order is when this thing is in somebody's hands. Okay. When this thing is out and it's about to slide, you stand as a percentage the greatest percentage of getting an additional order. It's very difficult for me to get back into your store, right? So when you think about it through that lens, you understand that this is nothing new. This is old as time. It is just manifesting itself now more commonly in the e-commerce world. Now, also in the e-commerce world, this technology has been around for essentially 10 years, okay? But it's expensive. It's hard to develop. It's really hard to develop. And so, some of the bigger platforms have had plugins that do it. You have to spend $29, $39, $49, $59 a month in addition to your normal subscription to get this feature, to get this functionality. And it was sort of on the fringes for years and years and years. And that's changed now. And that's changed now because of that growth in e-commerce penetration. Everyone now realizes they need to have it. And so, number one, I'm extremely proud that we have it. As I look at the revenue potential for our customers over the next 5 to 7 years with this feature in place, it's not insignificant. It could be a 15, 20,
Oh,
30% bump in their bottom line. That's number one. But number two, the thing that I'm most proud of, notwithstanding the fact that you guys all need to turn it on immediately, customers, Jim Livingston, I see you right there. Okay. But there are other companies that plans start at like $100 or $125 a month with this added feature. Like, this is like their shiny object, like on the platinum plan.
yeah.
And what are we charging our customers additionally to turn this on? I forgot. Nothing. Nothing, you guys. Nothing. And that is really, really important because we are utterly, totally, and completely invested in our customer success. Okay. And don't take it as a sales pitch. I don't care if you ever sign up with our storefronts or not, but this is a perfect example of a feature that you have to have. It makes a significant impact in the bottom line. And when I put my scary pumpkin there and I say you keep up or be left behind, all the smartest merchants now have this. Okay. All of them are running it. It's not for their health. It is that effective. And if you do not have it in place, you are leaving some tens of thousands of dollars of money a year on the table.
Yeah.
You're not dropping it to the bottom line. And
You
that's
literally
so
have to
important.
have this feature.
Yes.
You literally have to have these. Like, it's just, if you have visitors coming to your site, and you know that these features work and it's proven, you have to have them.
I know.
You have to have them. So let's talk about another one. Okay. There's two more I
The
specifically want to go over.
go to the next most important, okay, that
The
we
next
we
one,
love.
Afterpay, or Affirm. In other words, the buy now, pay later, right? Is that what you were thinking about too?
Yes, of which, by the way, and let's just give some context on this, okay? It's essentially financing the order. There's Afterpay, there's Affinity, there's PayPal that's doing it, okay? Square is doing it. Everybody is doing it, and why? The stats have been staggering.
And the
What
reports have come out,
Yeah.
and this is another fact. This is an indisputable fact.
Mhm. So, but the one main report that everyone like hung their hat on was the Shopify one, right? That came out and said like
Yeah, well, I
the
mean, it's all
increase.
over. Yeah,
Yeah.
they said it, but it's like, the narrative is all over, and again, it goes back to those same two metrics. It increases your conversion rate and it increases your average order value, right? Why?
Mhm.
Why would that happen? Because if somebody sees like that they got like $1,000 order and they're like, I can pay, $24 a month for 6 months, for free, and then I have to pay the lump sum or whatever it is, right? Like, what do you think is going to happen? They're likely to buy more, and they're more likely to check out on a percentage basis. Very simple,
Yeah,
very simple,
and you have
right?
to understand too, like the majority of our customers have expensive originals,
Yeah,
right? Like that is such a sweet spot for financing, and I sit there and I look at it, and it's like, number one, if you can turn something on and it costs you nothing, okay, why would you not turn it on? That's number
yeah.
one, right? Like, what ends up happening is the customer comes to your website and you have a $4,000 original, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to buy the
Well,
$4,000 original. I would
remember
split it
with
up." Oh,
remember with these Afterpay Affirms, there is a top price point of $1,500.
top price. Sorry. So
Yeah,
top price one at $1,500. Whatever. You have the top price one at $1,500. I come to your site. I don't want to buy that. I can't afford that right now. I click, split the payments up. I'm through a credit check in 2 seconds. You, the merchant, still get 100%. Did they even pay a fee to Afterpay?
yeah. There
Like
is a fee.
$2. It's like two or
Yeah.
it's some minimal thing.
Yep.
And the customer instantaneously gets qualified. You get paid, and the sale happened. And you know what's going to end up happening? People are going to start snatching 6 to 7 to 8 to 10 extra sales a year.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Exactly. So I mean, it's just another one of those things that we got it done. We had to. It's like, if that's going to increase the conversion rate and increase the average order value, has to be done. And obviously, again, what did we charge? What are we charging customers for it? Zero. So everybody gets it, right? And this is part of the whole point of the earlier part of our discussion about talking about you know that every small business type, and in our case, it's artists and photographers, is going to get exactly the software that they need, the technology that they need to run their business, grow their business, and to give their customers a great experience, right? And so that is 1000% our philosophy. And so anything that's going to do that, we prioritize and we get it done, right? So that's what we did here. Let's talk about the next one. Let's talk about the next one,
Okay.
right? This is one that nobody would even think we would talk about, okay? But there's something really interesting in it, okay? And it's wall calendars, right? Just calendars. For those of you who don't know, for years and years and years at art storefronts, we have seen our artists and photographers do really well selling art calendars, okay? During the holidays, right? And so, like, I'm going back like 7 years now. We started seeing that. We're like, wow, like these guys who are selling calendars, they sell a lot of them, like
Some of them in the hundreds.
yeah, exactly. And you see them added to orders. It's like a perfect upsell item, like just an absolutely perfect upsell item. And it's a lower price point. So similar to a lot of these merchandise type of items, they don't require wall space, right? They can be impulse purchases, which are incredible for artists and photographers to have, because not everybody is ready to buy a piece of art right now, and we all know that. And so why not have highly profitable items that you can sell at price points that are lower, that people could actually make an impulse purchase on? It just makes sense, right? And it's not even that it just makes sense. This is another proven fact. I mean, I literally proved it myself, working with an artist, running the sales myself, like doing them and going, okay, we're going to do an original, then we're going to do a limited edition, then we're going to try an open edition, then we're going to try, some coasters, right? And like the experience was just, was so enlightening. And this just happened in the last 30 days. And so this is like brand new information. But going back to the calendars, okay, let's go back to that. So what have we done for the wall calendars? What did we do? So I still have to set the stage a little bit more. Normally, when these people who are selling these wall calendars, what they have to do is they have to go somewhere and get a bunch of these calendars made and have inventory. And the calendar has to be a fixed date period. January through December of 2022 is what they would be selling, right? Under that old structure. And so you'd buy 30, you buy 100. The more you buy, the cheaper they are. So the more profit you make. And so you're playing that game. And then you got to ship them yourself, right? You got to package them and ship them yourself, which is a pain. And but you've got this item that you can only sell at one time of the year, right? And then you've got inventory, you got all these problems with it. So what we did is not only did we add that item for automated fulfillment, but we added a dynamic calendar aspect to it. Okay. Now this is the key, right? So when a buyer, when anybody purchases a calendar, it's not just a 2022 calendar. Okay. Like let's say you sell one in March of next year. The dates change automatically on the fly, right? So that it's the next, they get a full 12 or I think it's 13 months, or it starts 1 month ahead. And so what does this do? This means that artists and photographers now can sell calendars all year long, Pat, right?
Yep.
This does not exist anywhere. Why would you do that? Right? Because this is a problem that has existed for artists and photographers. It's a totally viable product that should be sold all year long. If you can sell calendars, at any time, you should be selling them all the time. You don't just sell it one period because the product sells and then, oh, I guess, we'll just wait 12 months and until this time period happens again, and then I'll sell 100 more. No, if they sell and it's a good product that people want, sell it all year round. Very,
Correct.
very simple concept and philosophy, but you couldn't do it. Now you can, right? And so I love that feature. Like we already had the wall calendars with automatic fulfillment, but the dynamic aspect of it makes it so that you can sell them all year long. And of course, the automated fulfillment means you don't ever have any inventory. You don't even think about it. You're just selling wall
Exactly.
calendars all year long, right?
Exactly. And then not only that, like, I'm not naive enough to think that you guys see every single solitary thing that we put out. Okay. But I put out some merchandising stuff recently. But Patrick, wall calendars, some cheap 30, 40, $50 price point thing. I'm not going to make millions of dollars on wall calendars. To which I reply, no, you are not. And it does not matter. Okay. You have to understand, and this is hard to understand for most artists and most photographers. So I love just laying this out. Okay. And this comes from someone who wakes up every day and is responsible for marketing. Okay. I'm sending emails. I'm doing social posts. I'm doing messenger broadcasts. I'm doing Facebook and Instagram ads. Okay. Do you know how hard I have to work to get the art storefront's message in front of you guys? Pretty damn hard. Okay. Pretty damn hard. Do you know what the holy grail of places to be is? On your wall 365 days a year. Do you have any idea what that's like for me? Okay, you guys see a calendar. You see a little cheap price point calendar. Okay, that you'd have to sell millions of them to make a ton of money. Do you know what I see? I see my Facebook ad and a staple gun. And that's allowing me to take my Facebook ad and staple it onto your wall. And not only do I get to staple it onto your wall, every month it changes. Do you have any idea how valuable this is? Okay. And I need no more than good old Bunny Smith's comment here. Okay. An artist I love, I first bought a calendar from. I now own two prints.
Exactly.
Okay. That is the entire story right there. What Bunny's saying is you, with these inexpensive items, get onto somebody's wall you otherwise wouldn't have because they weren't ready to spend 3, 4, 5, 1,500 on limited edition, 5,000 on original. But they're willing, they like you. They're like, you know what? I'm not ready to buy art right now, but I would love to get that calendar. Next thing you know, you have a Facebook ad in their kitchen for the
Yeah.
next year. Do you know how profound that is? No one ever thinks like that,
No.
right? I don't care if you lose money on the calendar. That is the most effective piece of marketing you could possibly do. Why, when you go to the mailbox, okay, especially in today's climate, do you have notepads with realtors' faces on them? Or calendars with realtors' faces on them. Okay. Or what happens if you go to your wife's corporate Christmas party and you leave with a little bag of swag, okay, with ballpoint pens with a company on it, right? Or a refrigerator magnet or a bottle opener. Okay. It is a beachhead of advertising into your home, into places I couldn't even hope to touch you. Okay. Unless you're looking at your phone in your kitchen, there's no way I'm getting on that wall in that kitchen. But all of a sudden, I get that calendar in there and I'm on your wall 365. Do you understand how powerful a marketing this is? You never know when your potential customer is going to raise their hand and say, I'm ready to buy art. But let me tell you, a great way to get there is if you're on their wall. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No one says
Yeah.
that. No one ever says that or thinks like that.
No.
And
And
it's
and it's
fundamental.
so true. And it's like you bring up the realtors and all that stuff, and like, why do they do it? Because it works.
Because it works.
It's worked forever. You know,
Yes.
they're like dying to give you these things because you
Yes.
keep looking at it every day, right?
Yes.
And if you think that you know, and Bunny's comment totally you know, supports this, but I mean, if you want to talk about like your ability to turn just an average, you know, visitor into a collector and to get them really deep in liking you and your art, it's just simple psychology. Get them looking at your art every day and your
No
name
question. No question. No
every
question.
day. I mean, it's you know what I mean? And then
And
they'll,
and I mean, it goes like the layers of depth in this particular tactic are so deep and so extreme. Let me give you an example, and I always like putting it back to real world example. What we teach our customers, the marketing we teach, they can effectively afford to lose money on the lead generation activities that they're doing. It doesn't matter whether they're doing shows and fairs, or they're doing social media marketing. There's a cost to all of that. They can afford to lose money on this because they understand the way the game is played. Okay. It might take years to see the ROI from that particular person that you brought in as a result of your giveaway or your Facebook ad or your Instagram post or your promotion or your gallery show. But if you are not marketing consistently, you're never going to know when that person needs to buy. You're never going to be top of mind and they're not going to come back. And so there's so many instances where we continue adding these inexpensive products to give our customers the ability to at least monetize and create a customer now. And you might not sell that 10,000 original 7 years from now. But guess what? You've got a customer. They purchased. They showed the ultimate intent. You are now top of mind. And, it's like with the tote bags, it's like they're now carrying around one of these. Oh, my green screen always messes it up. They're now carrying around one of these things to the beach, or they're using it to go shopping, or they're carrying their kids' crap out to preschool because the kids are late. I can hear them screaming. And you're top of mind. You're now
yeah.
top of mind.
And you're showing it to other people, and other people ask you about it. Like, you think about if you have like a bar in your house, right? And you've got coasters, or you just have the coasters with, you know,
The kitchen,
with an
the
artist's art.
coffee table, whatever.
Yeah. It's a conversation piece,
Yes.
right? It's like people will ask you about it if they like it. They're like, "Oh, who is this artist?" Or like, "Where'd you get these?" It's like, "Oh," and then they're like, you know, "Oh, it's this artist I know that I follow on Facebook and Instagram, and they're awesome, and they love doing this type of art." And they're kind of selling you at that point. Where else would that happen? It would not happen.
You would not happen.
It would not happen. And so the power, and the great part is too, is like, you're talking about like, you know, it's worth it, you know, to just give away the merchandise, like, you know, because like these other people do, and lose money on it. But actually, these are high margin items for you guys, because everything you guys can sell is high margin at the end of the day. Like, you can sell coasters for $49 a set of four, you know, because your art is on it and it's special, you know?
Yep.
And so like, that's not out of the question at all, right? Like $10 to $12 a coaster, you can sell them for whatever you want, but I think they only cost you about 18, right?
Yep.
So even at $36, you're making a 50% profit margin, which is, by anyone's book, a good profit margin, you know?
No question. No
Yeah.
question. As
So
well.
it's really an underappreciated part of an artisan photographer business. It really is, you know?
Massively so. And no one's out there to tell you this, right? You didn't learn about this in art school. No one taught you this. There was never a business class where you learned about AOV and how to increase the AOV, and the fact that not everyone is ready to buy art the minute that you create it, and the fact that you constantly need to be nurturing an audience. Like, these things are fundamental. Anyone that has a business that is doing well online knows these things, right? They know them. So we can't ever assume that our potential customers know this. And so you need to just constantly through road to lay it out like, this is how big of a deal this is. Okay. It is an utter, total, complete game changer. You are going to be an artist selling your creations for the rest of your natural born life. When you stretch out this period of time where you're constantly doing this, You're constantly bringing new leads to the ecosystem. You're constantly nurturing the ones that you already do have in there. Sometimes they're ready to buy art, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they need a little kitschy gift, sometimes they don't. And you're just constantly nurturing them. You're increasing your AOV. You're getting these lower margin products into their homes, which are going to serve as digital advertisements for the years to come. And then all of a sudden, whoever it is buys a vacation home or moves from the city to the suburbs, and they have all this blank white wall space. And who is top of mind? You are. And that's the game.
It's such a different thing if you compare the artist or photographer that has all of that going versus the one that does not.
I know.
And I know you and I know this viscerally because we work with thousands of artists and photographers. We know them by name because we're so close with our members, right? And you know the person who is in that world, right? Who is, has these things at their disposal and is taking advantage of it. And then you also know the ones that do not. And you're like, you're making it so much harder on yourself, right? Like marketing is everything. You got to use everything you can to get that done, and there's so much that's not like even I was surprised about these things. Like when we launched like merchandise on our platform, it's like you sit there and you're like, why would I sell a mug, like for $20 or whatever it is that you're going to sell it for, And then I start seeing the orders coming through where I'm like, okay, somebody bought a mug and 2 T-shirts and a set of coasters, and the order was $300, and I'm like, okay, like, that person just sold a open edition print for $199, like the week before, and it's like, you want to think that it's like when people order these things, they're just buying one, but they're not. They add multiple things, and before you know it, you're looking at an order that is as good or more valuable than just selling an open edition print.
I know.
And you know what I mean? And it's like, you look at that and you go, what am I doing? Right? Like I've got to be offering these things, and not to mention all of the benefits that you just mentioned, right?
Yep.
All of the benefits that you mentioned, like, iPhone cases, like you could just go down the list of like, these things are advertisements outside of your home. Right.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, again, like, all this is doing is taking the lessons learned over years and years and years in the retail space and applying it to the online space. Like,
that's exactly right.
If you have a store and all of a sudden inside your store, there's 2 additional shelves of merchandise and you're bringing more people into the store, your AOV goes up. You're adding more customers, more things are being purchased, and you can't dwell on the margins on the small things versus the large things, right? Like look at any retail store. There's high margin items and there's low margin items, right? And there's the in between items, and it's about how much you are collectively selling. And then again, what's the easiest customer to get? The one you already have.
The one you already have.
So profound that. Profound that. But
And
no one ever talks about these things, which is why we need to continually say it, because we have a private Facebook group, right? And all our customers in there posting all the time, posting their wins, asking questions, asking marketing questions, talking about what they're doing, talking about what's they're working.
It's our mastermind group, right?
Yeah, and in a weird way, it's sort of an aquarium into their thinking sometimes, right? Like where I can sit on the outside and I can look into the aquarium, and you just can't assume that anyone knows this. You can't assume that anyone understands that there are 3 ways to grow a business. Okay. There are add new customers, right? There are get repeat business out of the customers that you have, or there is get more order value, AOV, out of the transaction when it does happen. All 3 are important levers. But guess what? Everyone works only on the number one. Everyone only talks about the number one, i.e., how do I get more customers? 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 When you just take a little bit of focus and you say, okay, how am I going to get the customers that I do have to come back and purchase again? And then how am I going to get more AOV, average order value, when they do purchase? When you start working on all 3 levers, your business starts growing exponentially. It changes the entire ball game. So it's a profundity, and we can't ever assume that people know this, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you talked about several things, right? You talked about how like the order bumps and the upsells, like this has been going on in the
retail
offline world for years, right?
Yes.
You talked about the merchandise, how the real estate agents and companies have been giving you swag, for years,
Yes.
like calendars and notepads and pens, right?
Yes.
The offline, like, and then earlier in the conversation, I talked about how, software and technology, like the artist and photographer business, every single business, that's out there, every small business will ultimately have the exact software and technology that it needs to run the business, to grow it, and to give it their customers a great experience,
Yes.
and so what's happened is that, these offline things have been digitized and turned into software. You always say there's nothing new under the sun, right? And there's not. Like when you think about the Afterpay Affirm, Pat, the buy now, pay later, what is it? How many times
Oldest
have
time.
we all been
Oldest time.
offered that
It's
when
called layaway. It's called
you're
layaway.
at Macy's or Nordstrom's or something, and like right when you're checking out, they're like, "Can I give you? If you sign up for a credit card right now, you don't have to pay for 6 months, and
Yep.
you get 15% off." Right?
Yep.
It's like that never existed in e-commerce. Now it does.
Does now.
It does now, right? It does now. You used to not be able to like. It used to be very difficult to get your products or your images printed onto merchandise, and all of these different items. And so,
Let alone print on demand. No minimums. No inventory.
yeah, exactly. But so what was the world like prior to that? The big companies, Keller Williams, Remax, the big real estate companies, other businesses buying bulk swag, right? Because they can afford to, and they give it out and they use that as a marketing benefit. Well, guess what? It's been digitized.
Yep.
It's been digitized. It's now software. Now every artist and photographer that's on our storefronts, can offer all of these items on a one-off basis, and have the same tools, the same power and marketing tools that these big companies have been using for years, right? The
Yep.
offline world being digitized. Something that I've been thinking about that gets me really excited. You're going to love this one.
Hmm.
You're going to love this one. Okay. Taking the order upsells and the order bumps to the art fairs, to the art shows. How? Okay. Well, the art shows, we've already been working on digitizing, as much of that as possible. What I'm talking about is when people are doing in-person shows at like an art fair. Okay. Now, you got the QR code. We launched instant checkout, right? And so we're gonna have QR codes where
You define instant checkout. No one knows.
yeah, I'm doing it right now. So you with your phone, you will scan the QR code for that piece, like while it's on the wall in a booth, and it will instantly open up like the checkout, so you can do Apple Pay or Google Pay on the spot, right?
Yep.
And instantly buy, right? And what I'm excited about is what if you add the order bumps right there and the order upsell on the spot, right?
Or
On the spot.
you do it in person. Or you do it in person.
Yeah, or you do it in person. But if you have that working for you on the spot, right? Like that person who you might not be able to talk to, because sometimes I go to these shows and the booth has 6 people in it, and one person's over here and here and here, and you can only talk to one person at a time, right? And if somebody's going to buy something and you're able to implement, take the online strategy of that and have order bumps and order upsells ready to go, or maybe they buy it right there on the spot and they go home and there's an email in their box with the order upsell, right?
Yep.
Like, because it's just too hard to facilitate like right on the spot. But but because you got the order into your system, the software will do that for you. And now you have a way of increasing your AOV in the offline world. I mean, this is where we're going, and it's super exciting.
As we talk about features and we go through it, like, one of the other ones that we released for Q4, which I'm really proud of because I designed it selfishly, is our live art show pages,
Yes.
right? And this notion of live video commerce and how it is just eating the world right now, right? And again, the use case is China, right? Like the sheer percentage that's happening at a retail basis via live video is staggering, and now US is catching up. And the concept of the live art show pages, without showing one off now, is there's the video. Underneath are all the products. You can instantaneously buy them. Well, I started reporting yesterday that Instagram Live just came out with a brand new update. And do you know what the brand new update is? And it's it's for like the people selling shoes and makeup and everything else. But you go to start your Instagram Live, you input the product that you're selling. There it is right there at the bottom. You hit go live and you're able to talk about it and sell it. And it's like, it's case in point. The landscape, okay, to go back to my title, is changing so fast that if you guys are not set up on a website and you do not have these features, you are being left behind. If you have a pretty portfolio site or you have a site that does not feature these features, again, don't take it as a sales pitch. We're not the only gig in town, but you are going to be left behind. Your business will not be able to grow. You will not be able to keep up with the rising costs of everything else that is in marketing world if you don't have these revenue opportunities in your business. You just don't. And I'm not kidding. Whatever happened in COVID last year with that jump in retail penetration, e-commerce penetration, it's like all of a sudden it just went hyperspeed. It went hyperspeed, and like again, you don't notice a worm when it's turning, but whatever, the last 6 to 9 months, it went hyperspeed, and we're not going to stop iterating. I'll tell you that much.
That's right. And so, now we should say the month is ending. And if you're interested in joining our storefronts or learning more, request a demo. Do we have the demo link?
Yep.
Yep.
It's in the description anywhere they see this.
Yeah. So it's in the link is in the description to request a demo. You can always go to the website and the button's up in the upper right-hand corner, request a demo. But we have a big sale that's ending right now. We also have a sale on the or the services of launching your website for you. Like our team will do that according to best practices. And then we also have a marketing assistant package that will help you with your marketing, right? For the next 3 months or might be 2 months or 3 months. I think it's 3 months. But those are going, and they're going fast, right? Because there's only so much time left and so many resources that we have that can execute during these times. So if you're interested, request a demo, and you can get in before the biggest art selling time begins.
Right.
You still have time. It's started already. Like it's happening now. People are getting sales. The big time is about to happen here in November, and I think it's going to be starting like the second week of November is when, the onslaught is beginning from a marketing standpoint, right? So you want to get up now, don't delay. If you've got it on your mind right now and you're going to do it anyway, like you're like, oh, I know I'm going to start my art or photography business, or I know I'm going to make an improvement to it next year. You might as well get going now. There's no better time of the year when people give you the most attention, and you can grow your audience and your email list bigger than ever, even if all you get is a couple sales because you just started out. It's the best time to get the highest return on investment on your own time.
That's right.
On your own time. So we can't stress it enough. Like at this time of year, it's like, wake up. Like this is the one time to like pounce and make it happen. And it's just super exciting. I get so giddy for this time of year. And I just can't wait.
So we get this question all the time. This is like a regular recurring question, which is, can I get the marketing package if I'm on another platform like Shopify? And the long and the short is no. we are struggling to make the product awesome and offer the support we need to our customers. So we can't do it. Maybe
the only thing is if you decide to join our storefronts and and you're planning on moving your website over like in a couple of months or something like that because you're really busy, and that happens from time to time. Like we have no problem with that. And and in that way you join our storefronts, and then you can buy any marketing assistant service that we provide. And so, there's no issue with that. But the marketing services that we provide are for members only. That's the key. They're for members only.
Yep. So that answers that. Well, Nick, thanks for the time today.
Yes.
I appreciate it. It's going to be a crazy last week. Now, you and I are now calendared to do this again on Thursday.
Yep. Thursday, 10 a.m. Central.
8 a.m. Pacific, and we'll get another one of these sessions in the books. And I appreciate it. And you'll probably see me later this afternoon as well. All right. Thanks, guys.
See you next time.